Okay. Two things about related to your AWS account. Number one is it is good if you enable two-factor authentication if you have not yet done already. So two-factor authentication, you will get it under here security credentials, and here it is. It's also called multi-factor authentication. So in my case, it is enabled, as you can see it here. So yeah, do like that. I have shared a video that will help you to secure your account. And the other thing is also it is good to have. Oh, another other thing is it is good to have billing alert if it exceeds above some threshold. So in my case, for example, I was trying something and I forgot to shut it down, and it sent me an email. Let me show you my email. This is the alert. So it says my actual amount. I think the threshold I put was $5. Now it has become $11. So it sent me this. It sent me a couple of times, starting even before when it was around $6. So this helps you to avoid unexpected expenses. So two-factor authentication and billing alerts. I have shared the videos in the Telegram group, so you can watch the videos and make sure you enable them. That these are important for your account security and to avoid unexpected expenses. And today we are going to talk. So far, let's go over the syllabus. I will meet all of you for now. So we are on week 17. Last week we saw generally about what cloud services are, what cloud computing is, on-premise versus cloud services, and particularly we zoomed into AWS and we saw how to integrate MuleSoft with S3. Particularly, we created an AWS account, we created an S3 bucket, and we saw how to read data in S3 using MuleSoft. And also to show you the syllabus, let's check what we have covered so far and what we are left with. So here is the syllabus. So we are down here. We saw, so the topics that we have covered, I have made them gray. So this part, more or less, there are a couple of pointers that we can just summarize in one class, one discussion, but up to here it is covered. We covered also handling errors at different levels. We saw about publishing and consuming JMS messages, including also, we also saw how to do that with ActiveMQ.
One sec.
With ActiveMQ and also Apache MQ, which supports both ActiveMQ and RabbitMQ. So this is in AWS, whereas this one showed us just with a local installation. So we have covered all of these, and Barakat covered this one, cloud computing, generally what is cloud services and cloud computing, distributed computing. So he covered all of this. So all of this has been covered already. And from the integration of MuleSoft with Amazon Web Services or AWS, we saw Amazon MQ, S3, and today we are going to see these two. So you remember when we were reading data in a database in MySQL or Postgres, we had local installations of MySQL and Postgres. Now we are going to see RDS is these databases in AWS. The only thing that changes now is these databases will be in the cloud. And this one is a simple queue service, like similar to Amazon MQ, but it has some differences. And SFTP is a file transfer protocol. Rather than having a local installation, now that we are in the cloud, it is good. All the things we do, it is good if they are in the cloud. So we will see today and some part of tomorrow, we are going to see, we are continue our discussion on integration of MuleSoft with AWS. And tomorrow we will cover watermarking and object store. So we'll cover this tomorrow. So far, assuming maybe we will get here or here, let me maybe up to here, all of these by the end of this class will have been covered. So I can make it gray. Ooh. This one, because this one. This one. Yep. So as you can see, so far we have covered around, you can say 70% of the course content of the syllabus, 70 to 75% of the syllabus. We will spend quite some time here and we make sure we master everything, and then we will integrate, just taking one of the classes, we will integrate everything from end to end. What's this phone number? Yeah, okay, I will just leave it. Okay, perfect. So that is it. So today we will see how to integrate MuleSoft with Amazon RDS. Today's slides I have here. So on the integration, we have Amazon MQ and the S3. These parts are covered already. I can grade them out. And RDS, SQS, FTP, Redshift, we'll see. Maybe we may not cover all of them in the class. I have one video that I made before for Redshift. I will share the video and you can just reproduce it. If we can do in the class these three, RDS, it is very similar. The reason that I am showing you different AWS services is, one, it helps in your resume. You will add that you have cloud experience. This is important skill, not only for MuleSoft, but also for other skills, general, for other IT areas, having cloud experience, knowing these different AWS services, how they work, what's the difference between them. What, like for example, we saw S3 is data storage for any kind of data, whether it is structured or unstructured, video or anything, whereas RDS that we are going to see today is a relational database service. So it stores data, structured data. It is MySQL. We will see the different databases they support. We are going to see also the difference between Redshift and RDS, and the difference between Amazon MQ and SQS, whereas FTP, SFTP, all these things are data transfer protocols. We will see what they are also. Okay, so let me go to I don't know what this phone number is, so I'm removing it. Okay. So, okay. So perfect. So now log into your AWS account, because we are going to create the database in our AWS account and see how we send the data from MuleSoft to the database, and also read data from the database using MuleSoft. Everything that we were doing when we were working with our local installations of Postgres and MySQL. Now that you know we have been working with both of them, we will just pick one of them now. We don't need to create database for both of them. So just to go to services, once you are here, once you have logged into AWS, go to home and search RDS, Managed Relational Database Service. So this is what we need. Let me see how many people have AWS account. Can you give me a thumbs up? How many people were able to create an AWS account, integrate with, because so far we have seen, at least in the last classes, we saw creating an AWS account, S3 bucket, reading data from S3, and also Amazon MQ. These are very important skills. So you have to make sure you spend enough time on that to to do the hands-on that we did in the class.
1 sec.
Okay. Yeah, a couple of people only 4 people have AWS account so far. 5 people. Last time I think around 10 people were okay. 7. Okay, probably around 15 or something people I would expect have an AWS account. So those of you who have not yet created AWS account, just for today, just follow along what we are doing and watch the previous video if you didn't watch it, and create an AWS account and reproduce the demo we did in the last class. Then you come to this one. But it is good also today if you pay attention to what we are doing. It will help you when you watch it later. It will help you what it is. Shall I admit this person? Let me admit it. Okay. I hope it is not a bot. Okay, perfect. So we have RDS here. What is this? I think these things, I don't think they are people. I will remove them.
It is not from US, the phone number too. I think from Indians or something.
Oh, I see. How did they get it? Okay.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine then. Okay, let's leave it. So those of you who have logged in already, go to RDS and click here. Then under RDS, they support different databases, including MySQL, Postgres, SQL Server, and so on. So if you go to databases here, I don't have any, I deleted it, but we can just click create a database. So once you come to RDS, click create database to create a database. So what we are doing is I think it was in one of the classes, we installed MySQL and Postgres, and we were using MySQL Workbench as the user interface for SQL and pgadmin for Postgres. Now I will open MySQL Workbench, but rather than connecting it to my local MySQL, I will connect it to MySQL database in the cloud in AWS. The other thing is also we are going to read and send the data to the database in the cloud. This one, I will just testing it with it. I have deleted the database, so I will remove this one. I will connect it together with you. Okay, perfect. So once you come here in the create database, just click create database. And yeah, once you are here, click this one, switch to your original interface. Switch to your original interface. I found probably this page also is fine, but this one, I found it easier. Switch to your original interface. Okay, now, what we are going to do is once we click switch to your original interface, it asks us to select an engine. Let's select, as you can see, it supports Microsoft SQL Server, Postgres, MySQL, Oracle, MariaDB, and Amazon Aurora, which is very similar to MySQL. We'll just select MySQL since we have been working with it with a local version. Now we will work with a cloud version of it. And then at the bottom here, there is a filter. Only enable options eligible for RDS free usage tier. So I will just check this. Then it will show me only instances and engines that are supported for free tier. Then here, under specify DB details, here, let me see what I need to specify. We can leave most of them default. So among the important things here, there is DB instance identifier. I think this is a must. I will just put MuleSoft. Master username. So the username with the local by default with the local version. Local installation was admin. So I will call this admin also. Put your any password you want. I mean, it should be secure, right? So that mine anyway is temporary. After the class, I will kill it. So I will just put in relatively. Let me see. now after we put the DB instance identifier here, the username and the password, we click next. Click next. I don't need to save it. Okay. Now on this page, so this is database name, right? Like we're creating databases. So let's create one database name here. I will call it MuleSoft. Database name by port. The port by default is the same as our local installation. If you remember here, this is a port here is, if I click edit connection, you see the port for local version is also 3306. The only thing that is changing now is the host name will be in the cloud rather than localhost, rather than in my laptop. Okay. So I put the database name, the port was the default one, I accept it. All the rest I can accept just the default is. And I guess, yeah, to delete it, there is somewhere that says, this one, enable deletion protection, since I want to delete it after the class. I mean, you can remove this after creating the database also, it is fine, but I will just uncheck it right now so that I can easily delete it. Otherwise, if this is checked and if I try to delete the database, it will tell me first to come here and change the configuration. So now let me click create database. So we will have MySQL database in the cloud, in AWS. One important thing here is there is something called, so these things usually, you will not be, as a MuleSoft developer, you may not have access to the company AWS to create these things, database and everything. The DevOps and data engineers take care of that. They just give you the credentials. We're just creating this ourselves so that we can practice integrating with MuleSoft. Plus, having this cloud knowledge is also valuable skill, not only from integrating with MuleSoft perspective, but generally also as a standalone cloud service knowledge. So now I will click view DB instance details. Okay, now if I go to databases, here is my database identifier. As you can see, it is my SQL. So this is small size computer because I am just using the free version, free tab. The region it shows me it is in US East 1B. It says it is my SQL, and yeah. It is creating now, as you can see the status here. It is creating. Let's see how long it takes, and if it seems to take time, we'll talk about other things. Okay. Okay, perfect. So now let's see. It is in creation, and let me show you the important credentials or information we need here. This one endpoint will be the host. Once the creation is completed, once it creates the database, we will have an endpoint here. The endpoint is the host address of the database. And the other thing is, once it is created, we'll do this together. Under configuration also, we need this database name, right? When we were connecting MuleSoft with MySQL, our local installation, we were specifying the database name also in the connection. So let me open Anypoint Studio and show you. So we need the database name as well, and my username and password are here. If you forget them, your password, you will not get it on this page, but the username, the database name, and the endpoint or the host, you can get them from here. Okay, come here, databases. So this one, I think it is created now. So if you see now, it gives me an endpoint. So what is this? Before, when let me open Anypoint Studio, and before when we were connecting to database, so my local MySQL and local MySQL and Postgres, let me just open one. For example, which one do we have related to? Yeah, this one, update, delete, basic insert, update. This should be database. Just open it. In here, we were inserting data in bulk to our local database. So if I open his configuration, which is this one, we have MySQL database config, click edit. So in here, we're using the application properties here. So the MySQL here is, this one is local. I can show if I just open the config file. This is the config file where I was using. This is a host is localhost. Now this host will be the endpoint, the AWS endpoint we have here. We'll replace it by this one. The port is still the same. The username and the password, we put a username and password. So right now also, like what we did last week and what we have been doing before also, we are going to create a config file, application properties, and use that in the password. So I will close this project, and I have another one for MySQL RDS that I created for today's class. RDS, okay, Amazon RDS is here. So expand it. So the first thing, let's just see inserting data to the database. We will read, I will add also from the file module, let's insert, for example, the airport's JSON data to the database. Everything is the same, just this is repetition of what we have been doing. The only thing is the host is different now. So from file, I will bring read, and there is insert here from the database. And I have a listener. Even rather than making this a listener, we can make it a scheduler, so that every time there is a data in some folder, it sends it to the database in the cloud. So I will remove this and replace it by add module. Let me add. Or is a file module here? Okay. Oh yeah, I think already here. Let's use this source trigger. When there is new file in some location, then insert the data to AWS. So I will create in here, I will create some folder, and we will put data like what we were doing before. We will put data files to that folder every now and every couple of seconds and see if it inserts it to the database. So here, let me create a new folder, and I will call this AWS. And under AWS, I'll create data, for example. So data folder. So in here, if there is data in that folder, what we want to do is, let me move this. So our connector configuration, this thing we have done it multiple times. I will just go quickly and specify the working directory, right? So our working directory under MuleSoft here, AWS, our data will be here. And once we do that, I want the data to read only JSON data, let's say. So under file name pattern, we just put asterisk JSON, we said. So this will pick only JSON files. And at the end, let's delete any data from there. Before we were backing it up, renaming and everything. Since we have seen that already, we don't need to do that. Auto delete. So save this. So the first thing though is the rest of it we have seen already. The only thing we want to do here is, the main thing is being able to connect to MySQL in the cloud. So I don't need this read, right? Because under this, it will just read the data from that location. And the MIME type is application JSON. So this is it. We can make it as complex or simple as we want. You can report this, the rest of the projects we have been working using, rather than local MySQL, using MySQL in the cloud. Let's just work on the connection. being able to connect, and then we'll send some data there, and also make sure we also are able to read data from there. And okay, so here, the first thing, even you may be interested to connect it to add it also in MySQL workbench. Let's connect in MySQL workbench as well. I will create a new connection. Okay, yeah, you click this plus sign for new connection. So host name, my host name, I replace it by this endpoint. That is my host name. And this is my port is by default 3306. Username, we put admin. I can store the password here in the vault. Click store password here. Then I will put my password here. So that's my password. Now let me test connection. So first we are just making sure we are able to connect even from MySQL workbench. Test connection. Okay, successfully made the MySQL connection. So now if I log in, import name, please enter it. Oh, I didn't give it any. Okay, this one, AWS MySQL. Okay. So just now I can log in. Now it shows me this is, you see, MuleSoft is a database we created here. Where is it? Under configuration in the cloud, that is. So you see, this is a database in the database name here, MuleSoft. So now we can insert data, just like what we did to the local version. We can create a database here. We can insert data and everything. So let's get back to MuleSoft and make sure we are able to connect with MuleSoft as well. So with MuleSoft, we have to create a resource, the config file, right? Like before. Let me move this to my other screen. Sure, I don't know credentials. Okay, this is fine. So create something. We create something like this, like what we did in previous classes. So the root will be MySQL. So we said when we use application properties, we put it in a hierarchy, right? I will call it MySQL, and I need host for database name, username, password. So the host will be the endpoint I just created already. I'll copy this. I will delete it after this class, by the way. So after you practice, make sure to delete yours as well, or at least to shut it down. But I encourage just deleting it. This is a host, and the port is this database. I didn't call it airport. It was called MuleSoft. This is his username. I will put my password here, and the rest is just like what we did the connection last time. So put your password there. So, yep, once we create that config file, what do? We come to global elements. Let me do this and we do it together. Okay, yeah, I have it already actually. So, yeah, okay. So we come here. I think since we have been doing this again and again, I don't need to spend time on this. The next step is to make sure that file is the config. I have this configuration properties in the code. You click add. Let me remove it and do it again. So click create here, and global configuration is configuration properties. We have to tell it that the configuration properties is that config file, the YAML config file. Just click from this drop down. It is this one. We are telling it that this is a application properties file we are using. Then to create the database configuration, we click create again. We have been doing this again and again. You go to what is it? Connector configuration. We have connector configuration here. Okay. Under connector configuration, we have database config. Just click database config. And once you do that, it will create this one for you. brings you here. So rather than just have to putting your host and your port and username and password, everything here, you just use this $, curly braces, mysql.host, we correspond to host, and the rest also like what we did last class. So now I will test the connection since we don't have much time and we have already seen this multiple times. I will just skip this. Let's test the connection. Test connection, fingers crossed if I don't miss anything. Oh, it is anomalously taking longer time. Okay, perfect. So test connection successful. That means now we can send the data. Let's see. So we have connected to MySQL in the cloud, and we don't have any data under this MuleSoft, right? We don't have any data now. Let's see. Let's send the data to it. We will insert data. So, and this one, let's see, insertion, we were inserting data to the database before, and we'll use bulk insert. So I will just copy code from there. The only difference is now we are having a cloud version, right, rather than local installation. So where is it? This one, bulk insert. Okay, this is for the diamonds. The diamonds will take time. The data is relatively bigger. This is the airport. Is, I will insert the airports. Let's just copy this and close project and come here. The connection is successful, we say it. Now we have to put for this one rather than insert, I will make it best insert also. So from database, I will bring bulk insert, and the connector configuration is what we just created. And in here, we have to put the SQL query code, right? And the database we have is MuleSoft. The columns, I don't remember what the columns are. Let's see, of the airports data. So we want to insert the airports data, right? So the airport is this one. Let me open this with Notepad, okay. So these are the columns: name, lat, lon, alt, time zone, T zone. Okay. So can modify this. Or is it this one? And this one I will take it to the other screen so that I can see it. So the columns are here, name, latitude, longitude, altitude, and time zone. We're almost done. Time zone and T zone. These are the columns we have in that data. Then just copy this, and the key names will be the same as these columns. So to make them keys, we just add columns before. These column names we said. So from the payload, look for these keys and insert their values to the database, is basically what we are saying. Let me check again. Name, latitude, longitude, altitude, time zone, and T zone. Okay, so now we are almost done, and we can transform the data also to here. We can add different kinds of operations. Just here, for example, let's just add transform this and transform it to, it is by default JSON. The data we have is JSON, but you can add some transform message if you want to transform it. Yeah, in this case, we don't need already. It is JSON file, and we are explicitly specifying that the MIME type is JSON. So it will read it in as arrays. Let me see if you have. Oh, yeah, okay. For that is another important point that I have that I will talk about later. For those of you who live in Africa and you don't have a debit card or credit card, we will talk at the end of the class how we can help you. Like what the Desalegn was saying last time, it is anyone from here can help you with $10. So just give you a card of that costs us $10. But we will Desalegn will tell us how he got his and how we can send you. Me or another person can send you. Okay. So now let's just oh, this one, did we make it every, what's the frequency we have here? Let's make it every 5 seconds. And okay, yeah, this is fixed. And okay. So now run project. Until this gets deployed, I will move data to that location. This airport is .json. Oh, airport.json, copy it from here and put it here. So this one, once it gets deployed, we will see if it inserts it to the cloud, and that data, we will see if we see it in Workbench here. So refresh, or what do you see? Refresh, or okay, did it pick it up? Okay, oh, there is some error somewhere. Maybe the column naming is not correct. Name, lat, lon, al, t, z, and t zone. Okay, what is the error that it is giving? Let's debug it together. Okay, so 100 failed operations. Is even my data in the correct structure? Let me see. I copy pasted this one, right? Airport is. Okay, so this is the data. Is an array like this. I don't see why it is. To make sure there is no. Yeah, it is an array, and we have these objects. The rows in Excel are objects here, and everything is in arrays, in square brackets. So let's see here and see what the error message is. Okay. Error starts here. Amazon RDS flow blocking. 1,000 failed questions, it says. Message. Okay. Oh, table MuleSoft. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I remember. Yeah. So in here, the error is very clear. So we have to create a table here, right? So create table. Have to specify the data types and everything. So it is easier for me if I go here and copy paste code. So we were creating tables in here. Let's go here. It says the table, it couldn't get a table called MuleSoft. So where can I insert it is the error. And we have some code here. Where was it? Okay, and have some Google Doc. So it would save me time to do that, but actually it took me more time. Okay, and this is creating the, okay. Insert week 11. Okay, we need this. Create table, MuleSoft, and the columns with their data types. So I can copy this and take it, paste it here. Table will be MuleSoft, and the columns in that table are these ones: name, latitude, longitude, altitude, time zone. So take this here so that I can see it. Okay, here. So the first one is name. So it is character of variable length. Second one is latitude. So that will be double. That I will remove this. And the next one is longitude. That also will be doubled. Next one is altitude. It will be int. Altitude. I don't know if it is int or double. Let's make it double. That's fine. Next one is TZ. This one is int, like UTC minus something. And the next one is T-zone. And that one will be 255. So now if we run this, it will create the table for us. Name, latitude, longitude, altitude, time zone. Okay. So run this. What is this thing you have? And in there, let me show the error. What error I have here? You have an error in your SQL syntax, create table MuleSoft. What is it? Okay, maybe name is a reserved keyword. So do I do it like this? Oh, I can close this also. Maybe this is not an issue. Let's see now, run it. The database selected. Oh, I will make this one. It is saying the error here. If you see, you don't have a default database. So MuleSoft, I will make it default. If you just right click on it and set as default schema. So now it will create this MuleSoft table under the MuleSoft database. We can give it let's give it airports rather than MuleSoft. We are creating a table called airports under the MuleSoft database. Okay, perfect. Now I can refresh this. And under tables, airports is here. These are the columns with their data types, but it doesn't have any data. I can check if there is any data. Select. Let's just see the count if it increases. Select count from airports. So the data here, the database that we are interacting with, it in the cloud. In the cloud, it is in the cloud. So we don't have any rows, as you can see. Now I will get back to here and modify my code. I want to insert it to the airports rather than MuleSoft. We created airports data. We created airports table under the MuleSoft database. So airports. Okay, so here in the configuration properties, what we need is the database name. We specified the database name here, right? The database name here is MuleSoft. Whereas the table name, we specify it here in the bulk insert itself in the code in the SQL query text. We specify it here. So now I will copy paste it again, and I hope it will work. Let me clear the console. Clear console and copy this, take it to here, put it in here. And let's see. After 5 seconds, see if it inserts it. Okay, is it deleted? It is still. 5 seconds, 5 seconds. Is it 5 seconds? Or... Okay, 5 seconds, yeah. And I'm not picking it up. Did I specify that location? This is a file config. I will see if that is the correct location. Yeah, specify. Actually, it said it couldn't give that database before that table before that means pick it up. Okay, yeah, that one is the location is correct. Is auto delete enabled? Why it is not deleting it? Auto delete is true. Okay. Yeah, it has been deleted. So from my folder, as you can see here, that file has been deleted. In here, it didn't give us any error message. So that means it has been inserted to MySQL or in RDS in AWS. We can check here in using this code in Workbench. So if I just run this, I should get none 0 or 1000. If I paste it again, I will see 2000 once this is inserted. The same thing. So before we saw how to insert using for each, PAL for each, belt insert, and so on. The same thing. So for MySQL in the cloud also, you can use the same operations. But we can also quickly check reading data from MySQL in the cloud here with MuleSoft. So I will just create another flow. And now let's say we want to use HTTP listener. So I will call it get RDS. We'll see if it gives us the data back. And from database, we have now the select operation. The configuration is the same configuration, right? Just getting the data from that database. Select star from airport. Let's say we want to get to just 2000 of all the rows. We have 2000 now, I think. If I run this, it should show 2000. Yeah. Okay. So select star from airport. It will give us all rows. And since we want to see this in Postman, let's transform it to JSON or to CSV. By default, because we said by default, the data from MySQL database comes in Java format, Java array format. And even if there is no data, it will be an empty array, but it is Java format, and Java doesn't render in Postman. So let's make this JSON and payload. That's it. So I will stop this and run it again, and that's it for today's class. Then we'll talk about a couple of other things. Run. Okay. Okay. Now I will open Postman in the meantime. So practice also connecting Workbench, your local Workbench to RDS. That's also a good thing. You can, because you will see the database and the tables there in Workbench. Okay, now I have the Postman, and this one, what get RDS is a path. So simply I'll just put get RDS. Once this is deployed, I'll send the request, and we expect to get 1000. So we are getting the data from the cloud. Even if anyone who has the address, now it is available globally. I mean, anyone from any location can get it. Before, we had MySQL and Postgres installations in my laptop, in our computers, or local installations. So it was not people from elsewhere cannot access it. But now, since it is in the cloud, people from anywhere, as far as they have the credentials, the host and the user and password, they can interact with the database as a concept. So send here, and let's see. Yep, we get the status is 200. Okay, and we have all this data. So in this class, we saw how we talked about RDS. Under RDS, it supports different databases, MySQL, Postgres, SQL Server, and so on. And we selected MySQL, we created database, and we connected to that database from Workbench and also with MuleSoft, and we're able to send data from MuleSoft continuously using the on new or updated file source trigger. We're able to send data to that database, and also we're able to read data from that database using MuleSoft. So this is integration of MuleSoft with RDS. Please reproduce this, create an account if you haven't done so. Reproduce it. It is from doing that you learn more, from the errors that you encounter that you learn more, or when you do the hands-on, you remember it for longer, you don't forget it. And if you can also experiment with other databases, not only MySQL. We saw Postgres, it is the same thing with the connection we did when connecting with a local version, but you can also check, like for example, it has MySQL Server. MySQL Server is also common, so you can create a MySQL Server database and connect to it. So here under connection we have SQL Server. Microsoft SQL Server. We have MySQL connection, Microsoft SQL Server connection, Derby connection, and the generic connection is we use that for Postgres, but you can create Oracle database under RDS, also Microsoft SQL Server database, and connect them and do the same thing like what we did before, like what we did today. So this is all for this class. So the other thing is, so Desalegn has created here the exam practice simulation tool. It is really nice. Desalegn, can you take some 10 minutes and demo it to us? Let me first unmute you guys. And the participants unmute themselves. And I will stop sharing so that Desalegn can share your screen.
Sure, I can. Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes.
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 Okay. I'm going to share as a .7z on the Telegram group or by the group email. So after we unzip this 7z file, we will get a folder that contains a manager.exe, the main application. We just run this software for the time being. Let me remove this one. So we will get such kind of interface. This is the visual cert exam manager. So we add the practice question. It is called MuleSoft Enthusiast Exam.vce. I double click it. So I select the exam and click start. So such kind of, in this interface, we can insert our name when we rehearse the exams. Here we have two kind of exams. One is the MuleSoft developer, MuleSoft enthusiast, questions that I collected from our Kahoot sessions in our class. And the second exam MuleSoft certified developer level 1 exam that I collected from other internet resources. So we select one of the exams, for example, the MCD. It has a timer. When we rehearse the questions, we assume that as if we sit on the exam, so we can even increase the time. But I think the 120 minutes is a 2-hour default. We can turn it off for that matter if you want. So when I click OK, it starts to count the timer on the right upper corner. We can see it starts to count down the timer. So which of the following are not part of a meal for event? Select, so it says. So we select the question, the answers. After select, we can click on show answer. So it shows us the answer. It says BC, and the correct answer will be in green and the wrong answers will be in red. So we click on next. It continues like this. So when we finish the exam, we click end, or we can save our session even. When I click end, it evaluates my result at the end of the session. It displays how much I scored, whether I passed or failed. It displays like this. So we can print our report. We can retake our exams. When I click on retake, I can, if I didn't complete, I can click on incomplete questions or incorrect questions. We can review all, review incomplete. For example, review incomplete. It takes me back to the questions one by one. It shows me the correct and the wrong answers. This is one option. The second option is, this is a .exe file, so it is for the Windows. For those who wants to practice on their Android mobile, there is an application inside of the folder APK. We download this into our mobile and we can install it. So let me share the screen of my mobile and can you see the screen of my mobile?
Yes.
Okay. So after we install the application in our mobile, it will show us this application. A+ VCE Silver, it says. When I click, it will open like this. So I go on the upper page symbol with down arrow. I click it. I click on file. So I add the exam or the MuleSoft enthusiast exam.vce file. It downloads the exam to the application. So we can see at the app, it says standard exam file. There are 2 exams, 2 sections, and 98 questions. So, and when we click on the all exams, it shows there are 2 exams, MCD MuleSoft enthusiast and the level 1 exam. The MCD MuleSoft exam, it has 38 questions. The MuleSoft certified developer has 60 questions. So when I click, for example, the second exam here, I click on start at the upper right corner. It starts to simulate like this. Similar, like what we see on the Windows. So here is a question. I select an answer. I can display the answer. We can see at the upper a page with a right sign. I click. So it shows me your answer is incorrect. Correct answer, it says A. I go next. Next, similar. What we see on the Windows. This is the application. So especially the second exam, I advise to practice it when we get ready to sit for the exam, because it's an exam which is similar to the certification exam. This is the session. If you have any question.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Desalegn. This is really nice. It's there is one question that says that it works with Mac OS.
I think for Mac OS, what I advise is there are applications called Android emulators. For example, in this session, can you see this is LD Player? LD Player is an application that I can emulate an Android platform inside of my Windows PC, or I expect it could have for Mac version also. So we can practice like this in Mac using an Android emulator software. I think that's a better option.
Perfect.
So here I installed it like this. I can add the exam. I added it. So I start. So you can continue like this, similar as Windows.
Perfect. This is so nice. So, do you think is it? I was thinking if we can put it in Google Drive, and that Google Drive give access permission to those who have the link, and share the link in Telegram. And when there are any commenters, I am compiling my commenters. I have gone almost over half of them. Have compiled a couple of commenters. And when you want to make modifications, add more questions also, you just improve that and upload it to the Google Drive. Then people can go and get it from that Google Drive location. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, Desalegn. I really appreciate this. The other thing is, Desalegn, I think 2 or so people said they live there and they don't have credit card or debit card. And if we can just give them a card with $10, I think anyone from here can help them. How is the process? Is it easy?
Yes, it's easy. It was. Let me show. On the folder, there is a designer.exe file. I mean designer.exe application. I click the application when I want to add other questions, or anyone who wants to create additional exams for practice. So I click on the open and add the exam itself. So these are the 2 questions. The Mule Enthusiast has 38 questions. The second one, these are the 60 questions. So when I want to add a new question, or when I want to edit a question, I select the question itself. So I can write on this if I want to edit something. If if there is a wrong answer, for example, if this is a wrong answer, you want to correct, for example, this is the correct answer, I click on that and save. We can just paste pictures.
Nice.
We can just pictures like this. You can paste pictures. This is easy. This is the window that we want, that when we want to add questions or create new questions, like for example, new exam. We can create a new exam. Within that new exam, we can add new question. So what kind of question am I going to add? Multiple choice, single select, multiple choice, multiple select, multiple choice, single select with case study, something. This is a kinds of questions that we want to add.
Perfect.
We can add even drag and drop answer questions. This is the way we create the exam.
Perfect. This is really nice. What tool did you use to build this, by the way?
It's a software that will be.
Okay. Okay, cool. Nice. This is really useful. And my question was actually related to creating an AWS account for those who live in Africa and who don't have a credit card or debit card. If those of us who live in the US want to help them, how do we send them the debit card? You told us last time, debit card
Okay.
of $20, for example.
Okay. Actually, the debit card. Let me see its name. It was in my mobile. Okay, it says secure spend prepaid Visa card.
Okay.
But I think any debit card that is sold on the shelf can be possible. It says secure suspend prepaid Visa card.
Okay.
Can you check, Dr. Fish, vanilla gift cards?
Oh, okay.
Let me stop my screen and can you check vanilla gift cards?
So the card, does the physical card have to come there?
Of course, it's a physical card. You buy it from supermarket.
Okay.
It's for example, mine says card expires on 09/29.
Okay.
And its name says card holder. When we insert the detail, I don't insert my name. I just insert a name called card holder. And it has a PIN code.
I see. So it is something like this one. You see my screen?
Yeah, I think this is the website. Yeah, vanilla.
Yeah, that's
Vanilla gift cards.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr.
Yeah.
Fish. I send to someone back home. I just take a picture with all details, card number, security code, and expiration date.
Yeah.
So he's using it. So
Okay. How long does it take to get there?
just take a picture and send it.
Oh, the picture. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That is
Yeah.
perfect. Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
nice. We don't need the physical. Okay.
Yeah.
And who said they don't have, who said they live in East Africa and they don't have a card? Can you unmute yourselves and talk? I think two people were saying like that. Did they live?
Yes. Hello.
What is your name?
Kidana Mariam.
Kidana Mariam. Okay. Is there anyone who wants to help Kidana Mariam, who wants to send him $10 gift card from the class?
Yeah, I can help you.
Who is talking?
Samara.
Samara. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Samara. So, guys, can you communicate through Telegram? Hello, Samara.
Yeah, I'm in the Telegram group, so he can inbox me. I can just inbox him.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
So
Who
much.
else said they don't have a gift, debit or credit card? I think two people asked it. Another one? Okay, perfect. So the other one maybe didn't join or left.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is all for today. Thank you so much, Desalegn. That is really nice. That tool, I will use it also for other courses when I am teaching other courses, even for, it is nice. I love it. When we, you remember, did you study Desalegn at some point? Did you start studying GRE? Did you study GRE like Alem and me and other group? We were studying GRE at some point to take the exam to come here, and we had tools like yours. We were studying tools, words, a couple of thousand words, and we were using simulation exam tool like yours. And when I saw your tool, it reminded me of that, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, everyone. So tomorrow we are going to continue from here. So tomorrow we are going.
I think Sige has a question. She is raising his hand.
Okay, Sige, what's your question?
Yes, thank you. I just want to know how many % we covered.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I said it in the beginning of the class. So somewhere around 75. I showed what we have covered. Let me quickly show it again. So we have this one, and share the screen. We have covered a lot already, but you have to make sure you practice, you spend the time on it. So we have covered all of this, and we are in here. So we just saw this one today. We will see this one and this part tomorrow, and I will share a video for this one. This one together with others, we will see it in other class. So see, we are at the bottom of the page, but we will spend quite some time here also, a couple of weeks. So you can say we are around 70 to 75% complete just over the coursework. Then we will have projects and resume preparation, preparing for the certification, and other kinds of preparing for interviews and so on.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Cool. Okay. Let me stop sharing. Thank you so much, everyone. So see you tomorrow. Have a good one.
Thank
See
you.
you. See you, everyone. Have a nice time.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, doctor. Have a good night. Thank you.